In this video, we'll be going the initial setup of the Cariera theme with the search and filtering plugin. So as you can see, I've already landed here on the actual list page after I've ran through the setup. If you need to run through the setup again and get all these default ones imported, you can click this setup button right here and it'll take you through the setup to do the import again. Because I've already done that, I don't need to do that, so I'll come back to this page. Now, as you'll notice here, we have all these different ones that have already been imported. And because I have the actual search and filtering enabled, these will now show up on the actual page in the front end, and they should match exactly the default ones that came with the theme. So let's go ahead and switch over here. So now you'll notice here, here's our search, and this is actually the home page one. So you'll see here the home page right here, this one right here. This is actually the default homepage one. And you'll notice here, we can tell that we have our search and filtering because we have all these buttons over here where we can edit the different fields. We can kind of go through them and we can see them, how they're set up. So this is made so that it matches exactly the default, how it comes default. You can obviously modify these, change the fields, remove them, change them around, whatever you'd like to do based on your own personal preference. If you want to keep them the same, that's perfectly fine. You can leave it just like this. If you wanted to come in and actually change something, we'll go ahead and go over to the Browse Jobs page. So now, as you'll see here, we have all the different fields. These are what come default with the actual theme, but you'll notice that you can now come in and you can edit all of the fields in here that have it all set up. Now, you'll actually notice I have this second one down here, which is the Enhanced, and that's because I included an additional one with this theme that gives you a little bit more features than just the initial one. So you'll notice the Enhanced actually gives you a range slider to slide between the different salaries and all that, instead of the actual default one, which was just a standard text box input. So let's go ahead and move that one up. And as you'll notice, you'll see here we have this one, and you can come in here and you can slide this around. To disable either one of these, you can go back into the actual list page where you can actually come to here and you go to section list, or you can go back to the actual job listing page and go under the search and filtering menu item. So as you'll notice here, we actually have the advanced search enhance, and then we also have the advanced search. I'm going to go ahead and disable the advanced search because we only want one of them on there. So there we go, we got that. So now let's move back over here. Let's refresh the page. And now you'll notice we have just the enhanced one. You can switch this around however you like. It's completely up to you. So as you'll notice in here, we have everything, like I mentioned, that matches the default locations. So what you will first need to do is you actually do need to come into the location field over here and go under the type config area and make sure that you put in an API key for Google. That's going to be required so that it can actually do the location handling. If you don't enter in an API key here, then what it's going to do is it's actually going to fill in the latitude and longitude values here, which is probably not what you want. So just make sure that you do that to get that set up. You'll notice over here we have our keywords fields, and then below that we have the actual radius for the searching. So if we come in to edit the radius for the searching field, you'll notice we have the default values. If you wanted to change that around, you can change it to default whatever you'd like. If you wanted to actually come in here and change the field configuration itself, say you want it to be a maximum of 500 miles and a minimum of 100, or you wanted the default to be 250 and 500, you can easily change this. Change that to 500, come over here, we'll change this to 250, and then you'll notice it'll automatically update there on the page for you and actually have your field configuration there. You can save this if you're done, or you can keep customizing it as well. If you've changed the theme to change, say, the colors, and say you want to change the color of this slider bar right here and the dot on it, this is where you'll notice under here on the side the custom configuration values. So you'll notice over here we have the dot style, rail style, and process style. These are all reflective of configuration options available in the view slider component, which I will have a link to in the description of this video, so you can actually find more of these settings if you wanted to add any of your own. If you wanted to change the rail style, all you need to do is click on this button right here, and you'll notice this pulls up a thing where it actually gives you where you can add CSS values to this to change it. So if you wanted to change the background color or something else, you certainly can. You can change that, save it 222, and then when we're done, and you'll notice, so this right here is the rail style. So whatever is not selected is what that value, that color is going to show. Whereas you see over here, this is the process style. So if I wanted to change this to, say, a white color, come over here to process style, and I'll go ahead and copy that just so I have it, but we'll save it. And then you'll notice it changes to white. This is how you can kind of customize this however you'd like and really come up with your own ideas of how you want to do these things. For the dot itself, you can come in here and change the dot. As you can see, this is the color and the actual width of everything. Everything is based around CSS values. So as you get this set up, you can kind of change everything the way you want it to look. Let's go ahead and switch this back. You can change everything how you want it to look and match your current theme settings. The values that are currently set in there that come initially with the theme are based on the initial theme values that I had whenever I was setting up these templates. I'm going to go ahead and save this as it is. We'll just leave it alone. And now everything is good to go. You want to see how it preview how it looks, you can kind of come in here. Everything should be automatically updated, but it changes a little bit. Now you'll notice I'm moving this slider and nothing is updating. That's because the location field has no value. Technically, if the location field has no value, there is no way to search for a radius around anything. So that's why that's happening. So this is the jobs one. If we wanted to come over here and we wanted to come home, and let's see if we can find that home page with the box on it. Because there is another homepage one that is the actual box layout. I think it might be 3. If I remember correctly. Yep, here's 3. This also has the box one, which if you'll look at the list, you'll see we have the home 3 homepage box. This one over here as well. If you're using this for your homepage, same exact thing. You can come in here and move these fields around. If you wanted location above that one, whatever you wanted to do to kind of set up how you want things to look, that's completely up to you. Same with resumes. You want to browse the resumes. It's exactly the same as the actual default ones. Now, it looks like we have 2 of these actually being output on here. So let's go over here, and chances are what I did was I probably imported it twice. Or I have 2 of them outputting. Okay, so here it is. We have the default ones and then we have the enhanced ones. So same thing with before, as I had mentioned on the other one. You'll notice here we have the filter by rate, whereas here the minimum rate is this one. So if I wanted to come in here and just, we don't want the default one to show, I'll go ahead and disable that. Come back over here, refresh the page. And now it's just that one. And now what you'll notice is that we actually have this filter by rate, which will show with a slider, range slider, instead of the actual input box. Now as you'll notice, this range slider looks a little bit different than this one up here. And we don't like that, right? So how are we going to change that? Let's go ahead and go back in edit mode, and let's go ahead and edit this field. And what I'm going to do here is I'll come over here to this type config, and you'll notice down at the bottom we have export import. So I want to copy this whole style and actually apply it to this one over here. So let's go ahead and export this, and then you'll see right here we have all of this we can export. Let's go ahead and click this button to copy it, exit out of this field, and move over to this one. Excuse me. And now in here what we're going to do is we're then going to paste exactly what we had just copied from the old one. Click do import. Yes, we want to import it. And there you go. We've now actually copied the style from this one over to this one. That makes it easy so that if you just get one of them set up the way you want, you can easily move that color configuration from different slider fields so that you don't have to keep inputting it each time over and over again. I think that's about the basic setup for the Cariera theme. Just wanted to kind of run through it quickly with you. If you want to go ahead and watch some more of the tutorial videos, I'll go over some of the features of the actual plugin itself in depth. But this is the basic setup for the Cariera theme, and I'll hope to see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.